This is Brandon from Watches on You. We're back again at JB Hudson Jewelers in Minneapolis, Minnesota, taking a look at a pretty interesting watch. This is the Panerai Luminor Marina with a white dial, PAM reference PAM00051. Let's drop down and take a look at the individual details of this watch. Alright, so let's get a closer look at the Panerai reference PAM00051. So right off the bat, I'm going to go over the case of this watch. Now, this watch has a 40mm diameter stainless steel case, and 40mm is actually pretty small for Panerai's. I think this looks really, really cool. In previous videos, I think that I've been a little skeptical of the Panerai's that tend to be very, very large and brash. This is much less brash than those, partly because of the 40mm diameter, and partly because of the dial color. This has a white dial, and I think that looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, just the contrast between the text and the dial itself looks great. And something I didn't actually realize until fairly recently is that Panerai, just because I haven't seen that many Panerais, to be honest with you, this one's actually available here on sale pre-owned at JB Hudson Jewelers for $4,500. Which I think is actually a very good deal considering the fact that this is in, great condition, especially for a pre-owned Panerai. And I'd actually expect a watch with all these like polished surfaces on it and brushed surfaces to have a lot more scratches on it, but I'm very impressed with the condition. It has very little, and it looks great. So this watch actually has a 300-meter water resistance, which is great. I mean, Panerai, their history is basically in dive watches. So 300 meters, that's perfect. It's around 1,000 feet, same as a Rolex Submariner. It looks great. The one thing that Panerai's, that this Panerai in particular does not have, that a lot of dive watches and some other Panerais have, is a diving bezel. If you're going to use this to dive, you'd probably want that bezel, but then again, I don't really see this as a very heavy-duty dive watch per se, because again, it's got all these polished surfaces. But this is kind of a cool watch to wear like on the boat or something. It's really, really good looking, and this bracelet is extremely high quality. I'm very, very impressed with that. It's super thick, and actually the clasp is built like an absolute tank. I would say it's built even more robustly than like an Omega clasp, which I've praised in the past for being just so tough and durable. I think it looks, the finishing, it's all brush, but it looks great. So I'll move on to the case back of this watch. It's pretty traditional. It's not a clear case back or anything. You wouldn't really want that on a tough watch kind of like this anyways. It's definitely a very durable watch. So I'll move on to a wrist shot here. So the one thing I'm a little critical about is the clasp is actually a double deployant, which is kind of annoying to put on. It takes a while, but I definitely prefer a single deployant clasp, like an Omega clasp or something like that. But as you can see, the 40mm case size, it might look a little small on some people's wrists. My wrist is 6 inches, but I think it looks perfect. 40mm, that's great. I'd say it wears actually, well, on camera, it looks a little bit smaller than it looks in real life. The case is pretty thick on the wrist. I probably wouldn't wear it with a suit. It'd probably get caught on a cuff or something like that. But, it looks great on the wrist. It's definitely not as brash as a lot of Panerai's. The white dial looks, exquisite. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe and share. And I'll leave a link in the description to the listing for this watch on JB Hudson's website. Thank you.